Okay, time for the third and final one. This specifically is the Tedworks GA 1225 construction crane. Basically, there's a company in my universe, Assault, that is known as the Bomb Industries. They recover planets that are basically dead. If you know what Glass Worlds in Halo are like, this is basically the same kind of concept. They chip away at it, cause natural sources to erode away at the glass material, so they can reclaim the planet and everything. A lot of planets were glass, and some mad dash to get to Earth and all that shit. It's a whole story that I don't want to go into. Not the point. One of the companies that works with them, because they're all part of a big guild of companies called the Merchants Guild, one of those companies is called Tedworks. Now, Tedworks makes giant hulking platforms that are basically mobile construction sites. I have plans to do ones that are just absolutely ludicrously big enough to make a skyscraper. But yeah, that's one of the ideas I'm probably going to explore in the future. But this is their crane. What it does is it basically makes like lesser telephone poles and stuff like that, or electrical sources, so that people could be able to have electricity as they're working on it. Basically, a basic grid as they work on making the actual official grid later on. It's just to get things started, so they're having to transport less materials to burn on site. Then you just have it on one site and just teleport all the way over to where they're at. This is one of their vehicles. It's basically a giant crane. And I plan to reuse this design, or not this design, but some parts from this in our builds. Right now, let's give a complete 360. Let me just move forward a little bit. So you get a 360 of everything. And then I will go into my thoughts before the functions. Because the functions are going... Actually, I'll do the functions first and then my thoughts, because I have a lot to say. There we go. Other details are if I stick my finger in here and pop this roof off without making a lot of disaster of it. See the interior a little bit. How he has controls and everything. He controls the crane from there. There's supposed to be cameras all over it that he can switch through. Let's see. There's just a guy chilling right there. But that's that. Now, I'm going to go into the functions. The first function is this little knob here. Now, technically, it's used for refueling, or repowering itself. So it basically just plugs into a platform and it gets power that way, then unplugs and goes so and so away. For the functions, you can spin it, and the back gear will go down, lifting it up, leveling it out. Now, the other function is first I got to undo this hook. Now, you have this turntable for this, which is, it's frictioned as best I could make it, but you have two knobs. The first one is the bottom one. You twist this, and it extends through a linear actuator and a drive shaft, the arm up. Next up, you would have, so it would be able to lift things down and reach the ground. The top one, which is this one right here, I'm actually going to do this so you can see it better. You turn it in a direction that allows it to go down. I should have made this this gear a lot longer out, because it would give me more of an ability to reach it better. I also made sure that the other gears are able to slide in, so that way it can compensate for it. Again, I'm going to do a different design in the future, but it allows it to reach the ground and everything, hook onto the cargo, lift itself up, and once it's fully up, yes, I'm assisting it. You can not ask too many questions. Yes, this takes forever, but I couldn't do a gear ratio for it. I'd have to reinvent the freaking wheel if I did that, which I'm probably going to have to. And it's able to use the upper one with some other movements and so on to put the pieces where they go. Now, probably wondering, what is it building? Well, like I said earlier ago, this is very bouncy, power lines. So I'm going to put this right here. I'm going to get the build that I built specifically for this. I'm going to get the piece that it hooks onto. Don't you dare fall apart. This is what it builds. A glorified power line also put little details, but this is for the art station picture. Yeah, these are lesser power lines. They're tall and they get the job done, but they're not meant to stay forever. They're just long enough for them to be able to get power through a long distance without much effort, so that way they can power certain infrastructure vehicles and so on that they need on site without needing to burn precious fuel. Instead of having their own independent systems, they just have one big temporary grid. They basically set these up. This is the best I can do because I'm not good at stuff like this. Yeah, that's the build. For my thoughts, I'm really happy I did this. I'm trying not to do any really big builds before the move, because we are moving. But I really wanted to do this one, and it ended up being this build specifically. But yeah, I'm glad I made this build, and I do want to re-envision the crane a little bit to make it a little bit more, I guess you can say make more sense, because right now as it stands, this crane design would not be a good design, which I did say in the lore, because I'll just read you the lore real quick, actually, I put on our station. Used by Tedworks, they had of bigger platforms to set up lesser power lines for the local towns. Track-based, but can be made in a wheeled version for further construction and paved setups. Newer models would be made with more versatile crane designs. So I'll be re-envisioning how the crane works before I do any other. This is like old surplus of anything. They're just trying to use these things until they're no longer able to be serviced, and it's just more cheaper just to scrap them. Just use them until they can't no more. And that's the core idea behind this thing. It's not super extensive into lore. I mean, I can go super extensive into lore, but I really don't want to. But yeah, this is the vehicle. It's specifically built to handle large projects like this. And I might be doing more of these here in a little bit, because I want to use the wheelbase from the drug barge, a newer crane from this, and maybe the cab and some other parts of it, so that way that I can be able to make a better version. Because this is it's got issues. Not gonna lie, this crane is not that sturdy. Okay, you put too much weight on it, it starts flexing pieces. I'm not happy about that. I'm gonna go about reinventing the wheel a little bit when I do go back into the. And there's another vehicle that's much bigger that uses this crane, or was planned to, and I have to revise that plan. But yeah, that's a plan for the future. Not right now. I forgot to give the height of this thing. Jesus Christ, what is wrong with me? I'm just going to move this out of the way because it's in the way right now. And I'm going to do a quick little height comparison. I forgot the height. I'm going to make the crane right here. Okay, so the highest point would be the crane, specifically the bar at the top. So I'm going to put this up against it. Wow. Hold on, let me make sure it's correct. Yeah, that's basically 10 inches. That's about at the 10-inch mark from where I'm seeing it. It's a little bit different from the camera, but yeah. The cab? That's just shy of 5 inches, so about over 4.5. 475 maybe? Something like that. 4 inches, 75 centimeters. I don't know. Anyway, it's a pretty big build. Let me do a length, actually. I haven't done length for any of these. My ruler's not long enough. Okay then. You have a great day. I'm gonna go take a break. Bye.